One of the leaders of this book club asked the girls I call them, what would you have liked to have been if you hadn't, got married and this and that, and most people were saying singer and this, and I didn't say anything because I said to myself, I did what I wanted,
Yeah.
I lived the life I wanted to, and I'm so grateful for that. So grateful.
Dystopia Tonight. Dystopia Tonight.
Hi, John. Hi, Tom.
How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Good. I'm glad to hear it.
Thank you.
That was I seriously could just keep going, because if I went through your IMDb, if I went through the seriously, I don't know how you did so much without just you don't even look like you're tired. You know what I mean? Like, I've never known you to be without any energy or enthusiasm.
I've had a little work done, John. I've had a little work done.
It is
I haven't had any work done, by the way.
No. You look amazing though. But you're always at the every time I took your class, every time I saw you, every time I spoke to you, you're always operating at a 10. And I don't know how.
Coffee and Advil PM.
Perfect. I love that's
tell you?
Drug of choice. Coffee and Advil PM.
I recently joined a book club because I left New York City after 45 years. That's another part of the story. And I joined this book club, and I'm like one of the youngest women in the club. The average age is 86. I don't even think they read the book. They're walking up to me with their walkers. Hi, dear. I'm going, oh my God. So I gave them a little bit of my background, and a woman after, because we were just introducing ourselves, giving us our story, how we got to the book club, blah, blah, blah. And one woman said, after I did my little spiel, she said, well, I didn't have a glamorous life like JoAnna. And I looked at her, I started laughing. I wanted to say to her, I worked my ass off.
Oh, yeah. Everybody
it was really glamorous, But I loved it. I was doing what I love. So it doesn't feel like work, John. It just, you have, I don't know, you have this fervor. I want to say you have this passion. You have this vivacity when you're doing what you love that just feeds itself, I want to say.
Right.
Because if you're doing something that you love and you choose to do it, nobody made me do that, Right. And I was doing what I wanted to do. I made a choice. One of the leaders of this book club asked the girls I call them, what would you have liked to have been if you hadn't, got married and this and that, and most people were saying singer and this, and I didn't say anything because I said to myself, I did what I wanted,
Yeah.
I lived the life I wanted to, and I'm so grateful for that. So grateful.
Because I know some people don't start out that way. They have to actually kind of train their brain to go, I'm going to do what I love to do. But some people, sometimes there's a struggle there, you know what I mean? Either parents or society pressures to do a different thing. Did you always feel like, no, this is who I am and this is what I'm going to do?
Well, I know that when I was 5 years old, my sisters would start complaining because I wanted to sing I'm a Little Teapot, for the 82nd time in front of the, in front of my family. I came from a working class family in Southwest Philly. And we had a small little house there with an archway between the living room and the dining room. And the archway would be my stage, And do we have to hear JoAnna sing again? And then for some reason, I started my own production. Tom will, appreciate this as a producer. When I was in 4th and 5th grade, I got all the kids in the neighborhood, and we would do it every summer. But I initiated this. We would do a show. We called it, we're putting on a show. And we would knock on the doors of all the neighborhood people, and I put a blanket up, and we had albums, and I would lip sync to South Pacific Happy Talk. Happy, 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 happy talk.
Wow.
And so I'm directing the kids and all this in my basement. And I remember one girl said, "I don't like you. I'm leaving. You're mean." "Mean? I'm the director. I'm supposed to tell you what to do." She didn't have a clue, so I let her go.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no,
I replaced her.
Yeah. Oh, you want your director to be. I remember when I was in high school, my theater arts teacher was oddly enough, I feel like you guys would have gotten along because she was, I swear to God, she was like, we always, my high school always won awards for like best production. She would ship in, like she really gave
wow.
Yeah. It wasn't like we're going to make our own shit or find it at the Kmart. She found a costume company.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. She'd raise the money. But I remember one time we were all in there and I was like, she and I got along really well. But one of the kids wasn't paying attention or whatever, and she picked up a chair and flung it across the theater area.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And I was like, this is fucking awesome. Like no one was fazed. They were all just like, we should listen to but directors are supposed to be tough. They're supposed to get shit done.
Well, I was 4th and 5th grade. I knew what I was doing. Come on, That teacher probably would have been fired today, though, unfortunately,
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's no
harassment or something, Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're not allowed to bring any of your own personality or flair into your career anymore at this point.
No, well, that's unfortunate.
It is.
I hope that heals itself. Let's put it that way.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
So you were 4th grade doing that kind of stuff. What was the transition from I want to did you know then this is what I'm going to do forever? I'm going to be an actor, or what was your first impetus to go?
I also did a community theater in Philly during college. I wanted to major in theater in college, but I was a commuter student, so it was a little tricky because at the time there were a lot of gang wars in North Philadelphia. I went to Temple University.
Wow.
And I was a little bit nervous because a couple of my friends got shot. One was stabbed late night on the Broad Street subway, and I was a little concerned about rehearsing late at night, and then I'd have to take the Broad Street subway home, and it was a little Anyway, when I finally had to declare my major sophomore year, I had this wonderful counselor. "Listen, darling, you're doing so well in the social sciences. Why don't you just continue there? You can always have this to fall back on. If you want to be an actress, you can do that. But get this now." And I went, oh God. And I was nervous about rehearsals. So I did. And I did all the theater I could, like theater classes, not theater. I couldn't, audition for anything on the main stage because I wasn't a theater major. But I would do Society Hill Playhouse, which was a really wonderful playhouse at the time in Philly. I would do some of their shows.
Nice.
Off campus, obviously, but in downtown Philly. And then I realized I did one of the first backpacking waves in the 70s with my best friend, Andy Salvo, and we went all over Europe and Greece. And it was one of the best things I ever did in my life, John. It was just it was so much fun. It was so educational. And it really, again, made me appreciate the humanities even more. But I came back, I got offered a job in the high school that I was student teaching in for a year. I got somebody was one of the head teachers in social sciences at the high school, Overbrook High School. Will Chamberlain went there. That was their big claim to fame.
Nice.
And
no big deal.
No big deal. One time they wanted to stop the arts and sports at this high school. I said, if you stop the arts and sports at this high school, nobody's going to show up.
Yeah.
Nobody, know. So you got to, no. But it was a good high school in a transitional neighborhood, I'll call it. But I remember I was still doing some theater in downtown Philly. Anna and I, when we were traveling here, we met a bunch of really great kids from all over the world. But there were a bunch of guys that were from Boston, and they had just graduated, I think, college. And they said, Beantown's a great place to live because there's a lot of young people there. There's a lot of colleges, Harvard's there, Yale's close by. I mean, all these. And we thought, we knew we wanted to leave Philly, to start out on our own. So we decided to go to Boston first. And of course, we, got teaching jobs there. But of course, any theater we could do, we did there. We were part of another repertory company called the Boston Repertory Company. And I did Animal Farm there with these people. I played a horse, Molly.
Amazing.
It was a great play, though, because they adapted Animal Farm by Orwell, to this play. And it was amazing. One of the guys that became very famous, this young kid named David Morse, played a dog. You know who David Morse is, the actor? Oh, my God.
I think I do. It sounds
honey,
really
he's
familiar,
been in everything. He always plays psychopaths and bad cops and things like that. He was, I think it was the 80s. He was in St. Elsewhere. He played.
I know what you're talking about.
With curly hair.
Yeah.
He was in, what is it? The Third Mile. I think that was the name of the film. He played the, horrible, prison. But he's also played, pedophiles and things like that. He is the nicest guy in the world. I know exactly what
you're talking about now. Yes, he did play the psycho in Third Mile. Yeah.
Anyway, he played a dog in Animal Farm, and I swear to God, his tongue came down to the the floor. I went, wow. Oh my God, how does he do that? He was the most believable dog, other than some boyfriends I've had that
Love that you got a zinger in there.
I had to do
that. When you guys were traveling and stuff like that, though, but how did you guys make money as actors, or were you doing some odd stuff along the way to keep yourselves going?
You mean New York?
Yeah, when you were backpacking and stuff like that.
Oh, honey, that was after college. We were on, we saved our money. We were.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Waited on tables, during college.
Right.
I waited on tables down in Ocean City, New Jersey, and places like that. And we just saved our money. I mean, I put myself through college because my family didn't have the money. Right. So that's how, I got a grant, a scholarship, a work study job, and a loan. Wow. That's how I got through school. But I waited on tables so that I could have money for books and also save money because we knew we wanted to, honey, back in the day, John, it was Europe won $10 a day or maybe $5 a day. It was doable.
God damn.
Well, I remember one time
in Greece. My heart.
Oh, I know, but it was so much fun, and you met people from all over the world in these hostels and things like that.
Yeah.
One time, I remember I was in a hostel in Switzerland, and it was in the beds were like these big, they were just old bunk beds in this like loft space, and we were going to sleep one night, and all these young girls from some kind of choir. From Switzerland, all start singing this beautiful song. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to sleep with the angels. And then then Anna and I were in Greece in this little tiny town, Igoumenitsa, I think you called it. And we were just so cheap. We got a room. It was in a barn. It wasn't a room. It was a barn. And it had a big mattress literally filled with hay.
Yeah.
And no toilet, no lights, nothing. There was a tin can. It sounds like I'm exaggerating, but I'm not. There was a tin can with a candle on it, and that was our light. It was $1 for the night. It was $1.
So fucking cool, though.
And I said, God damn it, Amber, going to pay $5 for my room tomorrow night. This is too much. I mean, I feel like I'm lost in the Middle Ages, and I don't want to be here.
But now I know what you mean when you used to teach us about using everything you had in your past and your present, whatever. That you had such a rich experience. Like,
absolutely.
The entire time you're telling me this, and this is probably just the point out the generational stuff is like, oh my God, how did they convince their parents to let them leave? And like, how did you
don't convince your parents? No, you just go, John.
Yeah.
There was no discussion.
Right. Yeah.
I'm going. Got my money. Got my Euro pass. I have my plane ticket, and
no cell phone, no GPS.
See you, Mom. Oh no. And she wasn't gonna. They knew me. They said,
Yeah.
Why would they? Why would they talk me out of it anyway? It's probably something they always wanted to do.
Yeah. Good point.
And I have to say my parents were both unpotentiated artists. They never got to really fulfill that or live that. My father was incredibly creative. I mean, he used to make these down in our basement, he had this little shop, I'll call it. It wasn't fixed up. Don't get me wrong. It's just, the basement. But he would make Christmas ornaments. He was a welder by trade, these huge hands. And he would hand paint Christmas ornaments, make them out of light bulbs. Easter time, he would paint those Russian eggs, or maybe they come from the air. I mean, and they were both incredible dancers, like amazing dancers.
Wow.
And they won like semi-professional dance contests in the 30s and the 40s. They don't do that anymore. They don't have, it's not like ballroom dancing today, but it's like, it's all, it's
Oh yeah, no,
like
I know.
Dancing with the Stars, forget about it.
Yeah.
But they would win awards and stuff. So I'm sure I got a lot of that creativity in my DNA from both of them. I remember I was at my niece's wedding a number of years ago, and I was dancing with my cousin Stephen, who was the mayor of Fallcroft, PA.
Wow.
I said, Stephen, you're the mayor? He said, what are you talking about? You're living the life you want. Are you kidding?
Wow.
You're doing everything you wanted to do, and you went and you did it, and you're successful. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we have to hear from the outside, or we don't really give ourselves enough credit.
Absolutely. I remember. Do you know Carl Above?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, he just passed. But I remember when I was starting out, somebody had said, well, I'd done a bunch of gigs with him back in the day or whatever, and there was this corporate gig, and all these guys were like, you do those gigs, they're loaded, they're CEOs, they're whatever, they're all wearing suits, they've all got expensive cars, jet, the whole thing, right? Carl does his thing or whatever, and then at the end of it, there's a line, and all these dudes who are loaded, worth a shit ton of money, have probably done whatever, wanted to talk to Carl. And I was at one of those moments where it kind of crystallized, like being a performer or being an entertainer. It was like, no one has that experience, no matter how fucking wealthy you are, no matter what you own. They wanted to know more about Carl and the act and where he'd been. And it just, it's crazy. And I always try to think about that whenever I'm like, down about the whole business or whatever. Where I'm like, oh, it's bad. But yeah, I'm like, if something happened tomorrow, I'd be happy that I, got to do what I wanted.
Are you kidding? Look, nobody holds a gun to your head and said, go be an actor, be a performer, be in the entertainment business, be poor, be rejected, get depressed, do drugs, alcohol. Go ahead.
Right. So from there you went, was it from all that kind of stuff, the community theater and things, and then you went to study under Sanford Meisner, or was there some?
I did. I also did when I was in Boston. There was an amazing open call, which means you don't have to be part of the theater or the system. Meaning at Harvard, this guy was doing his graduate thesis at Harvard, and he was doing West Side Story. So,
wow.
Ann and I were teaching school, and we saw this ad. I think it was in the Boston. I don't know, whatever the free paper was back in the day at Boston. Maybe it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't obviously the Globe, but anyway, we saw this ad for auditions for West Side Story. And we went. We knew West Side Story, from growing up. So we went, and we both got cast as two of the Jet Girls.
Nice.
She was Velma, and oh my God, I forget what my name was. Oh. Anyway, Graciela.
Oh, there you go.
And that was my name. One of my favorite lines was, Velma and I ain't dumb, As we're leaving, the diner or whatever, Pop's grocery store. Anyway, but here's the kicker. Leonard Bernstein was doing a poetry series at Harvard at the time.
Wow.
And Leonard Bernstein would come in, talk to us, give him a couple notes, encourage. And I was sitting there going, I'm sitting here with a living legend who wrote this piece. And he is like, consulting with us, addressing us, as peers. I couldn't believe it. I was like, I'll never forget this. This is a lifetime situation, And it was just wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, it was, I couldn't even have dreamt that.
Right.
That would happen. And it did. So
I like that you said that that he dressed his peers, because that's also something you always did. Like from the minute we walked into your class, is that I never felt like I was being talked down to, even though I had no idea what the fuck I was doing. Like,
I know that. But
we'll get into. I was like, I don't know when it's gonna.
Oh my God! No,
hilarious.
it's so cute. No, well, thank you, because I never do that.
Yeah.
I mean, my class teaches me how to teach them. Oh. And I don't baby the stuff or water it down or anything, but I certainly, I would say I push people
Oh yeah.
in the direction of trusting your own instincts
Mm-hmm.
over and over and over and over again. And that's so true in life too, John. You
Yeah.
know? And
Absolutely.
once you get in touch, if you do have an instinct for acting, I mean, that's priceless.
Right.
You know? I remember a couple of times you'd like to editorialize.
Mm-hmm.
I said, no, I think he should probably be a teacher or director too, you know? But
Yeah.
not, it wasn't annoying. There are some people I have to say over the years, a couple of times I said, let me teach the class, okay?
Yeah. I can
You know,
imagine.
in a nice way. So,
Yeah.
So anyway, I fell in
Yeah.
love with the guy who was playing Bernardo because he was a New York actor.
Mm-hmm.
He was home for for the holidays or something. They sold the ad. He said, where's this, Portuguese Catholic kid from Somerville, Massachusetts, going to be cast as, Bernardo in West Side Story? But he looked like Tony Orlando. Orlando, from Dawn.
Tony Orlando and Dawn.
He had the mustache and dark hair. So he looked more Portuguese than Irish, because I think he was also Irish. His name is Jim. I'll just say Jim right now. Anyway, we had an affair. We were like, and nobody knew about it until he got hurt one time in rehearsal, and he ran over to him in the green room, and then everybody goes, ooh, Graziella and Bernardo.
Gave it away.
Yeah. So anyway, I fell in love with him. He fell in love with me, and he was going to go back to New York to pursue his career. I think he was a really good actor. I saw him do Shakespeare later on in the summer. I went, God, he did Bernardo, and now he's doing Puck and Midsummer Night's Dream. This guy's good.
Wow.
So Ann and I, that was our next step anyway, and he encouraged us. And he encouraged us. He particularly, Jimmy, encouraged me to work at the Neighborhood Playhouse with Sanford Meisner, because he said he didn't go there. He went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. He said, but he's the man, meaning you got to study with this man.
Right.
And I interviewed at different places. I interviewed at the Neighborhood Playhouse, and I was accepted. So I'm going.
Beautiful.
You know?
We always talk about the differences between the two acting styles. And was there ever like a point in your, in the time doing both where you were like, I want to dabble in some of the other ones first? Or did you feel like Meisner was where?
No, I went there totally knowing that there was a specific technique and methodology that he taught. And I really do, Donna, and I maybe I am prejudiced, but I really think it's a great foundation.
Yeah.
It's so simple. It can be hard to do because we always go to our heads, react on ideas sometimes as something. So I want to say, absorbed the methodology. I really understood, I think, how to use it. And I remember when I was out there working as an actress, I called my old acting coach, Fred Kareman. I said, and this was after a while, out there auditioning and whatnot. I said, Freddie, we stayed friends because I'll tell you, John, I can always learn from somebody that makes me laugh. And I know that sounds corny, or, that's what all women say about, guy makes me laugh, but it's true.
Right.
Because he took the work very seriously, was passionate about it, but he didn't take himself seriously. And the whole class, I mean, everyone that I ever knew that met Freddie Kareman was in the Freddie Kareman fan club. Because he was such a great teacher and such a great human being that you couldn't help but just, I want to say, fall in love with him. You know. So anyway, I called him up one time. I said, Freddie, I don't know. I thought about maybe I would do a little teaching, coaching of the work. I said, and I want to know, because I'm out there and nobody's listening. That's the foundation of Meisner, listening and responding. Listening and responding. Because listening and acting is different. It's an emotional awareness of the other guy. It's not waiting for the dueling monologues to happen.
Right.
So it changes you, and it should change you the way you listen.
Yeah.
That's a wonderful, I'll send it to you some other time. A wonderful, I'm going to say, not even an essay, but it's just from something about listening that Alan Alda wrote in his book, Never Get Your Dog Stuffed.
I love that book. That's a great
my God.
book.
So he talks about listening and how it helped him to become a better listener in acting. And then it also changed the way he listened in life. It's a beautiful, beautiful excerpt. So anyway, I really always thought it was a great foundation. I said, Freddie, I don't know. I'm in these plays and these, but nobody's listening. And I told him about maybe learning how to teach the work. He said, when do you want to start? Just like that.
Wow.
So I apprenticed with, it's called sitting in,
Mhm.
but basically it's an apprenticeship. And you sit in and teach, watch him teach class all the way through whatever you call the program.
Right.
And sometimes, and I would talk to him afterwards. I took voluminous notes, but I had also been taught it and had been taught by him.
Mhm.
I took voluminous notes, and we'd go out afterwards and just talk about some of the work and what worked, what didn't, some students. And then he would, then after a little while, he would start just some students that weren't getting the famous repetition. You have on a blue shirt,
Right.
just to work with them a little bit to help them understand it's the spontaneity we're looking for,
Right.
not literalists, And so I could practice learning how to teach the work with these students that were already in his class.
Mm-hmm.
So he was a great mentor for me too. And then I was doing a play in Woodstock. I was doing, I think I was doing Streetcar Named Desire. And some of the people in the local community were, extras in it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody approached me and said, would you be interested? Would you come up and teach us an acting class? I went, whoa, but I had been working with Freddie anyway.
Right.
I said, here's the deal. You get upon, you ask around, because I didn't want to produce it. I didn't have time. I was still working on my own career.
Right.
So you see what you can do. Ask around, ask people in the community if they want to take a class. And if you can get so many people, more than 6, 10, 12, even 10, fine. I said, I wanted enough people to be able to interact with each other.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and I'll come up once a week and I'll teach a class. Sure enough, he or she, I can't remember who it was, got a group of people together, and we were given, I don't know if we had to rent it, a big art gallery in downtown Woodstock.
Wow.
And I started teaching. I guess I was there for at least 6 months. I'm not sure if I was there for a year. And I would go up, because I didn't have a car, every day on Greyhound to Woodstock on the bus. And
Mm-hmm.
I guess it was an hour and a half, 2 hours up and back. And after almost at the end of the 6 months, the bus driver asked me out because, he figured,
Yeah, he's like, I see her every day.
I haven't seen her with a guy yet in 6 months. And I said, oh,
Right.
Thanks, Frank. No, but I really can't get into a relationship right now. And I made up something, but I was very flattered.
Mm.
And so
adorable.
from there, Dominic Arriere, my dear friend, he was very instrumental in getting, I guess, initiating my work with all these stand-up comics over the years, because
Right.
he asked me to coach him for something or work on a monologue. And he said, I have all these stand-up comic friends that, they're looking at for development deals, because of Roseanne and Tim Allen, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And, can you coach them? Are you going to give them help on the audition scene or monologue? I said,
Mm-hmm.
sure, I could do that. And that's how it started. And then
I want to get back to the comedian thing, because I want to ask questions about that too. But how did you split your time was between going up to Woodstock, teaching people, and then your own career and auditioning and stuff like that?
I think I told you before, I was living off of coffee and Advil PM.
Yeah, it's still the coffee. That's still your drug of choice. I respect that.
Absolutely. I worked my ass off, honey. I mean,
you were doing auditions, I guess, because
like I said, I could do auditions all day.
Right. I was going to say,
this were the daytime. Yeah.
And
by that time, if I was making some money doing commercials, I could teach at night. Okay. And, if I got a job, I would just go off in regional theater. I would just go off to the site, to wherever it was. And sometimes I sublet in my apartment. Most of the time I didn't, because I just wanted to, not have to worry about all that while I was away. So
that's incredible. Yeah,
it was an out-of-body experience.
So Dom got you into working with other comedians, because that takes a particular type of patience that I don't think people
patience
to work with comedians, to teach them how to act. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're an odd, horrible bunch.
Oh my God.
But you really worked with a lot of us, and and you're able to do it. I mean, with grace and you can put up with
Well, I remember there were people that wouldn't work with stand-up comics, pretty well-known acting coaches.
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, they're all a pack of wild dogs. You know what I mean? I don't want to,
Mm-hmm.
and I said, well, I didn't know. So for me, it was like, I know how I teach and I know what I believe in, and I know, I think how to communicate the benefits of, knowing who you are. Let's put it that way. Because the more you know about yourself, the more you can know about any character you ever play. It's just, you're human. You have the good, the bad, and the ugly, and you just be willing to access that and use it. I'm not trying to turn you into a sociopath. I would tell people in an interview,
Yeah.
But
which is
we
funny
all
because
have that.
before I went to train with you, any other tips I had gotten was that comedians couldn't be, because when you're a stand-up, you try to strip down everything but who you are when you're on stage. You were the only person I acting wise who was like, that's the best thing you can do. If you know yourself, you'll be a better actor. That twisted it.
No. I mean, I think what happens is, well, to answer one of your questions before, I'll just backtrack a little bit. So after the Playhouse, I did take some other acting, just scene study classes.
Okay.
With people like Terry Schreiber, and he was more of the Strasberg School, sensory work and all that. And I thought that was all great because I could learn, but I always was very, very confident with my foundation. And so I'm really blessed and glad that I did decide to study at the Playhouse. It was a great time too in the 70s. My God, all the great films. It was the golden era of film for America. I was like, you look at some of the, what is it? The American, the American Film Institute, AFI. Their top 100 list of films. Most of them are from the 70s.
Yeah,
and it was a real fun time to because you'd be an extra if you wanted.
Yeah.
Everybody did Ghostbusters. Everybody did this. Saturday.
Is there anybody you found yourself kind of emulating in the very beginning?
You mean in terms of an acting coach? Yeah, Freddie Kareman.
Freddie Kareman was okay.
I remembered I would say things. I said, "Oh, that's a Freddie Karemanism." Made a new word. Karemanism. Yeah, because it was so simple and clear.
Yeah.
So I guess I stole it really, but I don't think he would mind that I would,
right.
Phrase his way of teaching it. But it's very simple. It's so simple for most actors, not only comics, that it's hard to do, because what happens, I think what people meant about comics too, is that they, especially if it was comedy involved, it was a comedy scene or whatnot, that they didn't think it was funny, only what they wrote or what they, could do as stand was funny. And lots of times they would just try to change the script. I said, what are you doing? What are you doing? No, that's not, you just change the whole story.
Right.
That's not what the scene's about. You have to use their words. But I said, bring you to the role, to life with these words. I said, because a lot of the reasons why they would get called in, because, comedy, I think comedy was the rock and roll of the 70s. And that was what comedy was in the 90s.
Right.
So they would go out to these clubs and see all these guys, and they want to wrap a development deal around them, because of what they saw at the club. They want that sensibility to bring these words to life, which is called a script. You don't change the script, but whatever that life was, that personality, that, I hate to use the word persona, it always sounds fake to me, but that persona, whatever they responded to in terms of you and your act, that's the kind of sensibility they want for this character. Do you understand?
Right. Yeah.
So it's not written about you, but you bring it to life. So don't not use that. So I disagree with that other note you got, about comics can't do it, because that's not true. It's exactly the opposite, I think.
Right. No, and it's, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, that was one of the things I remember the most about, specific scenes, stuff like that. Because I think I was even young. I started doing stand-up.
You were young, honey. You were young. Even for comedy, you. I don't think I've been doing it that long, had you? No.
I was I got taken out on the road really early, so it seemed.
Yeah.
So I was just.
Do you remember
always
who that was with?
I was Joe Starr was the one who got me into your class. Yeah, he was the one who was like, you got to go, because Joe had got me into a couple clubs and the liking to me early on. He'd come to speak to because I took a comedy class, and he had come to speak to us. And when he did that, like everything he just said resonated with me. You know, there's 30 kids in the class, or kids, you know what I mean? 30 people in the class. And I think I was the youngest. And they, you know, me and somebody else were the only two that wound up sticking with it and like kept going.
Yeah.
And Joe came to talk to us, and everything he said resonated with me, packing and unpacking bags and working on material, going out on the road, how hard it was. And I was just like, yes, all of that. I was like, none of that sounds scary. Yeah. I was like, everything sounds great. Club, you know, he told some great stories and stuff. And then at the end of it, I'd gone up because, you know, whatever that thing is in your brain that tells you not to approach people is burnt out in mine. So I went up to him and I was like, will you watch my tape? If you know, we had VHS back then. So I was like, can I send you my tape? And he was like, sure. And I sent it to him, and then he kept in touch with me ever since. But yeah, he's the one who told me to come see you. And when I did, I remember going to see you and we had a great conversation. And you had actually asked me about where I grew up and then my like parents and like when I was younger and stuff. And I remember that conversation to this day, because you had pinpointed a few things about my dad I never really talked about, but you know, you pinpointed a few things about it and really got to like the heart of it. And then you're like, all right, I want to see you come back on, you know, first day of
I
class.
didn't write down total freak, get rid of him, get him out of the room now. Just let him know, I don't think this is the work for you.
Yeah, exactly. You're like,
Joe Starr, one of my favorite people on the planet. I can't even tell you. Well, he acted a lot afterwards, but he did such good work in my class. Such good work. I mean, I'm talking about dramatically demanding work. You know, but just things that were incredibly vulnerable or incredibly angry and passionate, rage. It was like he has it.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
I remember years ago, Fred Kareman in our class at the Neighborhood Playhouse said, "Well, how many people think you have it?" What's it? Do you think I have it? And I remember nobody was raising their hand, and I said, I wouldn't be in this room if I didn't think I had it.
Like, I think
so a few of us trembled, you know, our hand up. And I said, well, why not? So Joe Starr had it. He still has it.
Yep.
But he's such a good person.
Oh,
too. And he's helped a lot of young comics. Yeah.
He's a good teacher. He's a good listener. I mean, I still to this day, we talk, he and I talk every day.
Oh my God.
Like, like phone call. Like sometimes his wife comes in, it's like, tell John I said hi. Because he's on the phone. But yeah, no, he's, I mean, just, you know, a great teacher and you know, he's one of those guys. So you had said something earlier too, where, you know, passing the work on and like how, you know, if you're, same thing. Like he'll say something to me and then a younger comic or somebody will come up and I'll kind of message him and be like, hey, because of what you taught me, I got to pass it on to somebody else. And he's like, it matters. Just keep passing it down the line.
Oh yeah, he's not stingy like that.
No. I like finding people like that's again, like I like through him found you and got to work with you. And one other thing you used to do too is you took the because there was a couple comics in that class. It was me and
probably
and a couple other people or whatever, and who were comedians. And you never made it easy for us, which I liked.
Well, why? Why would I make it easy for you?
Exactly. But it was.
And I would say to people in the interview, I don't know if I said this to you, John, but I said, look, this is not a comedy class. This is not about making your stand-up easy or better. I said it's not. It's an acting class, and everybody starts at the same place, and you're a blank slate. And I just, you know, please, you have to trust me. Then I'm going to take you somewhere.
Yes.
I'll guide you somewhere. I'm going to help you know yourself. As much as you are willing to do that, and you make the commitment to be here every day, 3 hours, twice a week, and that's where you'll be. You know, not all this running around. Oh, I got to do a set and this. You're here, and that was hard for a lot of comics too, because I don't know whether they thought it was just just a little thing they were doing, you know, to impress agents or managers or tell somebody, oh yeah, I took an acting class, you know, but no.
Yeah, right. Exactly. No. If you weren't going in there to try to improve something or get, you know, understand the work, then there was really no point.
Yeah.
And you had, so, I mean, the list of comics that, what was it? It was Dave Attell, Ray Romano, obviously. I mean, Ray's like, I loved the story you used to tell us about News Radio that you gave him the.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yes. And you were like, say it, you know, going to the line.
No, I gave him, it was Dave Foley, and who was the woman who played the other secretary in the class.
Oh my God. God,
Myra something.
Yeah, Myra. Yeah.
Really? No, that's.
Oh my God.
Oh, I can't remember her name.
I'm gonna look it up right now because she's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, and
here we go. Maura Tierney.
Yeah, there you go, Maura Tierney. So they were having a little affair, an office affair, and they don't tell anybody, and they're like sneaking into his office and making out a little bit, and somebody would knock at the door. Yeah. So anyway, I was thinking about that next project. I was thinking like that. That was the story of the script, and Ray was going to be the character, one of the office characters that, he knew what was going on. So as they passed by one time in the office in the scene, he said, "Hello, young lovers," and they went, "What? What are you talking about? Are you kidding? Oh, forget." I said, Ray, do me a favor. Mm-hmm. I want you to sing that song and add a little bit to it. That phrase, not so. It's from The King and I want you to sing it. Hello, young lovers, wherever you are. I said, I'm telling you, nobody will know, or nobody will think to do that because it's not the whole phrase of the song, but you're going to sing the whole phrase of the song. Mm-hmm. And I swear to God, it will. He's I'm not doing a good Ray Romano impersonation, and I adore him. Great. But anyway, he said, "Oh no!" I said, "Please, Ray, please, tell me, nobody else is going to get it. They'll get it at the audition. Believe me, they'll get it. They'll know the reference if you sing it." And he says, "I'm not a singer." I said, "That's the point. That's why it'd also be so funny."
Right? Yeah, exactly.
So he goes, he does the audition, and he tells me it went really well, blah, blah, because he got cast on it eventually. Yeah. And I said, "And," meaning, "Did you do that?" He went, "Yeah, I got the biggest laugh at the audition." I went,
incredible.
But he did it because he trusted me.
Yeah, and that's a testament to what you used to say, stay in the moment, be aware of the people around. Yeah. Yeah,
all that. And it was just, I think it was like his final audition. But, the irony is that he got fired from that because they felt like they had too many characters that were the same type or something, or too many office characters.
Yeah, I think it was like him and Joe Rogan were like the same.
Joe Rogan replaced him as a janitor instead.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
And then Ray went on to get his own show. I said, "That's not so bad. You get fired and you get your own show." You know what
Absolutely.
I mean?
See, because you also like went out and flew out onto these sets and worked with people directly, right? Mostly like
sometimes, yeah.
What was that? Was that like
I worked with Ray here, and we were working on his pilot episode, and working with somebody that was a woman in class with him, and she just he worked on. He had the pilot was written, but he wanted to work on the acting of it,
right?
So we did all the scenes that he would have done with Patricia, and I just had a young woman. She was happy to work with him because it was going to be a CBS. Was it on CBS?
Yeah, CBS.
NBC,
I believe, yeah.
CBS, I think.
CBS.
It was picked up, so it was all good.
Is that like a pressure cooker situation? If you have to fly out to kind of coach somebody through something, but also you're running on the network's time too. So it's like they bring, you know what I mean? Do you feel any kind of pressure, or you just like?
No, you just they'll take a break or something, and either the town comes to you and asks something, or I will say, how about da 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 da, and or because they don't do a lot of directing on the set. You get cast because of who you are and all that. Mm-hmm. It's mostly blocking and camera work and stuff like that, honey. I mean, when you do your table reads, you work that stuff out, but it's pretty much, your impulse, your instinct, just like I said before, knowing who you are, that's why you're going to get cast. I mean, you do have to know how to act.
Right.
So, and he did at that point, he was doing, we did a really funny, he talked about it on ESPN once, and about, this wonderful woman, JoAnna Beckson, she put this like recital together. I said, recital? It was a showcase. It was all original material he wrote with Mike Sweeney, who was one of he was a pretty well comic woman. He was like a head writer for Conan at one time. And anyway, it was called Original Moments and a few other things, but it was all original. And we did the showcase of it. And that's where he really got an opportunity to show what he could do, both comedically and with this beautiful monologue he wrote about his father. Anyway, I turned around to Rory, his manager at the time, or, was always his manager. And his wife was there and his brother. And I looked at Rory and I said, I told you he could act. They were like, it's the first time he got an opportunity to really showcase that.
Right.
Yeah, but it was nice. But when he said recital, I went, oh, recital. And what instrument did you play, Ray? Oh, that's right. You did the tuba solo. I remember that.
Everybody shows up with their 4th grade recorder. Like,
yeah, really. And that would have been funny, actually. But he and Mike Sweeney wrote this great scene about 2 brothers that own an Irish bar up on the Upper East Side. And I think Mike at the time used to live above the bar, in an apartment he had. And it was very, very funny. They were terrific in it. That's awesome. That should have become a sitcom right there.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, it's done, discreetly. You're not disagreeing. You're making suggestions. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that's all. It's not, I don't know.
Yeah, because I was wondering, I was like, if they need to have an acting coach and they have somebody come out, I'm like, that's either got to be like stressful because they're either, like it's.
No, but you would work with offset too.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Mean?
Right.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And then if you had to go to the set, you went to the set, but it's not like I go, can we stop, please? Okay. Right, come here. And Patricia, work on your lines. No.
That would be great, though.
Buck did not start with me. Okay.
That would be amazing. I would pay to see a show that's exactly like.
Oh God, yeah.
Just walk out on stage. Excuse me, can we just real quick? I need to take a minute here.
Well, what I did do, which is somewhat similar. Colin Quinn had a wonderful web series called Cop Show, and he cast me. I didn't have to audition. Nice. Here's how that happened. I was teaching class in a studio on West 19th Street. And he was in the studio that I was usually using. I was renting a studio at the time. And we're going overtime. And then the people said, don't worry, we'll give you your full time. And so I said, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. Now it's getting a little, I had my whole classes waiting out in the halls.
Right.
So finally they came out. It was the producer, the casting director, the director, and Colin. And, they're coming out. Sorry. I went, oh my God. Stay right there. JoAnna Beckson, stay right there. I went, oh, okay. And I said, hi, how you doing, sweetheart? I said, well, can I just get my kids in the ring? He goes, oh, yeah. He said, come on. Adrian Starr was the caster. She says, JoAnna, Colin wants to know if you'd be interested in playing his acting coach on the set.
Nice.
Of this. He's doing this web series. It's called Cop Show. I said, please, crazy acting coach on the set. I don't know. Tell me a little bit more about it. And, we had like a 5-minute meeting outside in the hallway. My class is waiting for me. And she says, so we'd be interested. We're going to start, on Monday. And it was like a Thursday. I said, well, yeah, as long as, there's no conflict with my teaching schedule at night. Because I just said that, I have a commitment to these people that I made. And, oh, absolutely. You'll get off the set. No problem. Blah, blah, blah. And right there, Colin was just like smiling. He didn't say a thing. He was just smiling. And he said, okay, well, we'd like to offer you the part. I went, okay. Wow. So, we talked a little bit about it when they were leaving. And I said, that's it? He said, yeah. I mean, oh my God. He was saying something. She worked with everybody. She's worked with everybody. Come on, you're crazy. No, you got to work with her. And anyway, so that was lovely. And that was so much fun.
That's incredible.
It was, I would say, 95% improv.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. That was a great show. And I love
Colin. And it was such a good idea. And we really thought it would go to Comedy Central or one of the studios because, Jerry Seinfeld was the executive producer and played an executive producer. It was a show about a show.
Yeah.
And it's based on like kind of a true story with Colin. I don't know if you know this, but he plays an actor named Colin who never got to do any of the, Law and Order gigs. Everybody did Law and Order at one point, right?
Yeah.
Because he only hired New York actors. And he said, I never got to do a friggin' Law and Order. I mean, I couldn't even be Jogger, it's like, whatever. So he decides that that's his story as an actor, Colin actor. And he said, so the character says, well, the hell with them. I'm going to do my own show. I'll call it Cop Show. I'll do a cop show about cop show, but not really a cop show. So I did a monologue in part of the one of the episodes where I talked about it's a cop show, but it's not. It's a show. It's a cop show, but it's not really a cop show. It's a cop show about not really being a cop show. I remember, like I said, I'm in this interview. I was being interviewed by this little French girl, supposedly from French television, and
yes,
she was asking, "Did you see that? That's
I
particular
did.
scene?"
Oh, so good.
Oh, and at the end of it, I said, the thing about Colin is that he's not afraid to do nothing. I mean, you could go grab a cigarette, go to the bathroom, come back. Nothing's going to happen. He's not afraid to do that. I mean, I was saying that. I said, in fact, you actually want to avert your eyes and not much. I said something, and he's insipid. And he yelled, "Cut!" And I remember Colin go, "Oh my God, I'm insipid now." I think it was their favorite monologue. Anyway.
One of my favorite moments on that show too is he's having trouble in this one scene. He comes to seek counseling from you, and you tell him that it's in the walk.
Yes,
and
yes.
he does the worst
my heart.
walking. Oh, it's so good. It's so.
And that kid Griffin. Oh, what was his last name? First name. He's so good. He was a great improv and just brilliant in it. And he plays this kid who just graduated from NYU and is like, the director. And we're at odds with each other because I just think he's horrible. But I'm nuts anyway. So I remember Colin said, "JoAnna, I'm your slave." I go, "Okay, I can do that. I'll work with that." But I remember the kid was saying after the walk, "Yeah, I can see what you're doing there. I see what you're trying to do, and all that, trying to be super. But could you walk a little faster?" I was telling Colin all this horrible stuff. Like, I want you to be aware, be super self-conscious of everything around. And I remember after that, I said, "I don't really believe this. That was acting,
Yeah. The super
anyway, it was the best.
Basically getting in his head for him. It was
God, yes. Oh,
so fucking
everything that's totally, the opposite.
Yes,
what acting should be. I'm telling you to do.
Absolutely brilliant. I'm stunned. I thought that for sure was going to go to Comedy Central or something.
We all did too, and I remember comics sitting around, after a day of shooting with him, and everybody said, "God, it's such a great idea," and it's so.
Yeah.
And he hired all the guys, what I mean? Robert Kelly and Nick DiPaolo and. All these great comics. I got to do scenes with them, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
God, they kept me on my toes. I'll tell you that.
Oh no, I can imagine. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, they had everybody on there too, and that was
everybody was on there.
We were talking about that briefly too. It's like it just seems like the business has changed so much that even if Seinfeld's backing something, they're like, and it's just a weird. Yeah, I don't understand. Do you notice that? Do you notice the huge shift? Because I remember when we were in your class, again, we were talking about sitcoms are kind of making their way back a little bit. I think Everybody Loves Raymond was one of the last.
Oh yeah, well,
it's
interesting. Then they got into more episodic, more drama series were starting to take over. But I spoke to an agent recently, and she felt because of last year and everything was so horrible for everybody in every business. She felt there would be a big demand for more sitcoms.
Wow.
And in the next few years because people need a release and she might be right. I haven't seen it. I mean, frankly, I hated all the reboots. I was like, oh no.
I know they're really bad.
They were all bad. It was like somebody had such a great ending.
Yeah.
And I said, what? No. What was actually not a sitcom, but did you ever watch 6 Feet Under?
Yeah.
I love that show, John. That was every Sunday night. My friend who lived down the hall, George, came over with popcorn and we just
yep.
And then we started to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm because it also came on the same, I think it was HBO. But I thought the 6 Feet Under had one of the best endings.
Absolutely.
Any drama
ending was pitch perfect.
Yeah, you found out whatever happened to anybody or this or that, and they all had their arc and their ending was just, I thought it was pitch perfect too.
It's one of the few shows if somebody's like, I need something to binge, and I'm like, have you seen 6 Feet Under? And they say no, I can without a doubt go, you got to watch that whole show.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I can't do that with Game of Thrones. It broke my heart. I stayed with that whole thing 8 years, and then
oh my God,
they just screwed us.
I couldn't watch too much because it was, I couldn't stand all the rapes and the incest and the murders, and the rapes and the incest and the murders and the rapes. I was like, okay, do they have any other thing to do then? I mean, can I don't know, take care of the lambs or the
it was one of those shows I couldn't tell my parents to watch. Well, yeah.
Oh my God.
They're like, what are you watching every Sunday? I'm like, nothing. Just
rape, murder, and incest. Rape, murder, and incest.
You wouldn't like it.
There are three things that I have watched recently and binged on them, and maybe I'm a little late to the party, but Ted Lasso.
Oh, dude, that is a beaut. Sorry, I didn't mean to call you dude. I do that a lot.
Oh my god, you didn't like it?
But no, I love it. I think it's one of the best written shows.
So good.
Yeah,
and you know it has so much heart, John, but it's not corny. You know, not gagging with the spin.
Yeah,
it's sugary. I also loved Mayor of Easttown. You know, with
I heard
Gene
that's really
Smart.
good. I haven't seen it yet.
Really good, John, and you're from that part of Jersey where they have that whole accent.
Oh yeah.
We'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
And this takes place in like the Delco area.
Yep.
So they're all talking like that. Coming down the shore and get some hoagies, like But Gene Smart is amazing, and then I watched Hacks. I watched.
Oh
Hacks.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Did you see that?
Yep, 100%.
Oh, she was so good in that. You know.
Yep.
So I just I remember the first episode of Mayor of Easttown. I was watching it and I was like about a third of the way through, and I went, "There's no acting here," and I went, "That's the best kind of acting."
Right.
I so believed it, and I love the cast.
Yeah.
You know, and the young detective that she started to work with, he was so good. And I don't want to give anything away, but I went, "Oh no!"
Yeah. No,
At the end of the series, yeah.
There's that show with. Have you seen the one with Bill Pullman, where he's the detective, and each season focuses on a different, like he's in a different area, different town.
Remember what it's called? I don't think I've seen it.
It's called The Sinner.
Oh no, because I love Bill Pullman. He's been one of my favorite actors forever.
Absolutely, yeah, he's amazing. That's
it on?
A great show. It is on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'll
great
have to look it up. Because,
yeah, there's a lot of stuff just binged over this.
Yeah,
pandemic.
but you know what's sad? It's network is. It's never going to be the same, honey. And
no, I know.
They're so hungry and the content is just it's so awful,
Yep. Oh, I know.
And that would be the big, golden ring to get a show on. Now it's because the content is so good on all these other platforms.
Yeah.
Because it can be real and the writing is believable and truthful and it's it doesn't have to be censored.
I'm stunned. I mean, I think they dropped the occasional F-bomb in Ted Lasso here and there, though. But that is like network missed out on that. I mean, they went to Apple.
Yeah.
And that's Bill Lawrence, who I don't know if you know, one of my top 5 favorite shows is Scrubs. I love.
Oh wow! Oh, Scrubs was wonderful.
Right?
I mean, oh my God, all those actors, went on to have even bigger careers. But I love Scrubs too.
Yeah.
And it was fun when they were one of the first that would break that fourth wall and look into the camera and say stuff like The Office did,
Right.
Which, by the way, I love the original with, Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais? Yeah. Can't beat the original.
I said, who is this guy,
Have you been watching Afterlife? Talk about pathos.
Yeah.
So good. I mean,
I think he's brilliant. He's just so smart too,
Yes, absolutely.
So, that's so great.
I mean, it's one of those things where he obviously, in the show he loses his wife. That's no secret or whatever. But I feel like, you don't have to have even lost somebody to understand the level of depression he's going through.
No. Yeah.
So it's phenomenal. I just want to, before we even get, because I'm going to keep you I've got you for an hour. If you have a hard out, I'll wrap up. But if you want to stay for a little bit more, I can.
Well, I'm union, so overtime, baby.
That's fair. I'll send
you overtime here.
Whatever you need. I got Venmo.
Do you have Mallow cups? Remember Mallow cups?
Oh my God, yes. Of course.
I'll take a couple boxes of Mallow cups. You can send them by Amazon.
Done. Oh, they're so good. Now I want them.
Oh my God.
That's a summer treat. But so you've obviously you taught directing and stuff like that too. I feel like, did you like that more than acting, the directing and stuff like that? Because I think
I love directing.
Right.
And I love doing it in my classes and then the projects I did a lot of directing off-Broadway and, different showcases over the years and got paid for it.
Right. And you taught it.
You know what I loved about directing? I remember when I would be in a play and I would be sitting there and I'm watching, part of the scene, but I'm watching the director talk to another actor about a moment. And I would just know in my heart of hearts, my instinct said, that's not what that moment's about, you know, but
Right.
it's not my job to go, hello. No, I don't think so, you know. And I would just, you know, I shut up. I didn't say anything and you know, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't pull, you know, an actor, you know, to the side again, you know, at the moment, you don't do that. And I hate when kids would do that, even in a class, go, whoa. You're directing that actor? No. So, but I just knew intuitively. And I was sitting in, again, like I told you before, apprenticing with my my acting coach, Freddie Kareman, his classes. And one day we were talking about the work. And I said, you know, Freddie, I really think I want to direct. He said 2 words to me: do it.
Wow. And
you know, you don't have to, you know, I'm going to do stuff on my own, as we talked about anyway. But when I heard that from him, as somebody who I so respected, he didn't have to push me off the diving board. I just went. I said, okay. So I found a play, a 1-act play, which I thought would be easier because it's 1 act. Found out they're really hard because it's one set and you got to make it feel like it's moving in a sense, dramatically and emotionally. But that's something I learned right away. A 1-act called Later, and was by a woman named Corinne Jacker. And I cast 2 of my friends, 2 women friends that I thought were good actresses from Circle Repertory Company, and an older woman who was the aunt of one of the actresses. Wow. So it was a play about 3 women, a mother, 2 daughters who were closing out their summer home somewhere in Maine or something. And the father had just died. It was time to close it out. I mean, you know, they weren't going to be going to that beach anymore. I guess they were selling the house. But it was a wonderful, wonderful play about relationships and family. And I loved it. I remember I kept a journal, and I remember the first word I wrote in my journal was yes, in real big letters. Yes. And I just, you know, here's what I liked about acting was that, you know, you got to, you know, create a character, and I felt like I got the opportunity to really express myself emotionally and be another human being insofar as living a life that I would never live. But how would that feel? And I got to express that. With directing, I felt like I got to paint the whole picture, so to speak. So there's this big blank canvas, and we're going to make these characters and these stories come alive by our collaborative efforts. I love the collaboration of being a director, working with the designers and lighting people and all that. It was so much fun because, you know, like we come up with the ideas, oh yeah, let's get that. How about, you know, but I just liked being able to, again, like I said, be in charge of the whole canvas. Right. And I'm going to use that color there and that color there. And that would be interesting. Or what do you think? And, you know, collaborate with, and we come up with a better, again, painting, I'll call it.
Do you still, as a collaboration, do you still keep the writers close by in a sense?
If they're available,
okay.
You know, and if they want to, because, you know, sometimes it just might be a word that just, that's just not working. And you know, I would say a secure writer would go, I get it. No, right. Let's change it to this. You know, I remember, you know, I taught Darren Aronofsky years ago, and he came to me to take acting classes because he wanted to have a better understanding of actors' methodologies, because he was editing his first film called Pi. Great film. And he had gone to NYU, graduate film department, and one of his friends, Robert, took my classes, and he would use Robert in some of his student films. And he said, you know, after he started to work with you, I put Robert in my student films, and he said his acting was better. I went, thank you. So he wanted to take an acting class so he would be a better director. I said, this kid's smart. I like this. So we came down. We had a great interview. I said, like comics, I said, I'm not going to give you a break because you're a director. You're going to be an actor in my class, okay? He goes, oh, no. I said, okay. Well, it was terrible the first couple of weeks because he's a director. He doesn't understand the language or anything. Right. Well, the time we finished that workshop, it was like 6-8 weeks later. It was a summer workshop in Meisner. He was never late, never missed a class, and was doing some of the best improvs. Wow. And the scene I gave him in that class. So I really respected him and his work for that. And later on, when he was given a commercial sort of about me, he came back to NYU, was giving a seminar after he had done The Wrestler. Which I love that film. It was just, to me, it was brilliant. And, you know, it was
amazing film.
he started to do the repetition exercise, and the kids didn't know what was going on because they weren't there in the workout. She's a good acting teacher. She's a good acting teacher. She's a good acting teacher.
Yeah.
And I started to laugh. I said, they don't know what you're doing.
Right.
But I never forgot that. That was very sweet of him. But yeah, that to me that's a real artist.
Yeah.
I want to be the best I can, and I want to understand how to talk to, okay. I want to know how to talk to actors before I work with them, so I know understand their language.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's terrific because, you know, I didn't work with a lot of really good directors. But I have been in workshops where the directors, you know, when I taught actors craft at NYU, you know, I'd have to be. These kids would say, "You're the actor, and this is the director. John, could you act better?"
Which, listen, if they were saying it to me, I would have been like, I understand.
And I just went, what? I said, well, first of all, you just insulted the actor. And what do you mean? What the hell is better? Could you be a little more specific? I mean, do you want him to flirt or do you want him to seduce? Okay. There's a difference right there, you know?
Right.
Anyway, So, I forget where that came from, but what were we talking about?
We're talking about just the directing versus acting and stuff. And plus, also you brought it up a couple times too, just improv and stuff like that. You seem very open to it and like to play around with it. Does that come from understanding actors better and the need to do it as a director? You allow it because there was a wave of it. I feel like for a while where it was just a hot topic, man. Every interview every actor had was how much was scripted, how much was improvised, and it almost seemed like people loved off script, like they wanted to hear more about people and their own brilliance. Did you find that more distracting though at a certain point where you were like, all right, sometimes you need to just stick to the script, or were you like, play, go ahead?
No. As long as it, because in certain let's say mediums like film and television, especially television, not like the great writers like
Neil Simon or
Mike Nichols or something like, you know, you can't, as long as you don't change the script, but you can add to it, you know, you can, I mean, something as simple as like, it says, no, I don't want to do it. You go, no. I don't want to do that. You know, it doesn't say no, you know, but understanding you can, there's an expression this one casting director used to use years ago. And, gosh, her name is JoAnna, and it'll come to me later. But anyway, she wrote in her book, muddy it up a little bit. Doesn't mean dirty or make it blue material. She just meant like make it more conversationally real. Right. And I would not want anybody to change the story, but something that you can write it. So then I said, I said, you know what I'm saying? You add to it, and that's part of the improvisation. As long as you're not telling some other story. No, that's not what this is. Tell this story. You can improvise on it. A lot of times I would tell my actors that came down to work with my NYU directors, get them to improvise first. Because a lot of them, if they come from the theater, they're going to be worried about being word perfect. It's going to feel stilted. It's going to feel stiff. It's not going to feel flowing. So if they know how to improvise, you can improvise around some circumstances. You'll get more believable behavior. Right. Okay. And that they opened up their, they opened up their scripts to that as well. You know? Yeah. I just feel like that's being more secure. It's a more secure artist. Yeah. As far as directing is concerned. And a writer, you know? Right. I mean, Darren told us the story about when he was working with Mickey Rourke on The Wrestler that he would change his, you know, he would go, oh no, I would say it this way. And Darren was pulling his hair out. I said, but the director would be right there. Or the writer would be right there. And they would call the writer. Mickey thinks that maybe it would work better if he said, and the writer was he said, no problem. You know? But he was apparently a piece of work to work with. Yeah,
that's what I heard too. Because it was funny that the first Iron Man, I'm a huge superhero nerd, by the way. So just let me dive in here.
I didn't see Iron Man. I don't know if I saw that one.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, Jeff, it was like Marvel Studios' first like kind of production or whatever. But Jeff Bridges was just doing an interview maybe like a year ago where he was actually talking about how him and Robert Downey, because there was no real script. So between him, Robert Downey, and Jon Favreau, they actually went in and had to, like, most of those scenes were improvised. And to have three, you know, Bridges and fucking Downey and then Gwyneth Paltrow, whatever, being able to do that kind of stuff, that fascinates the hell out of me. It's like you actually have to go in and rework a script almost in the same way we were talking about Curb earlier, where I want to know, like, people ask this question, we're like, what does the script look like? How much of it is left blank? And then
I think that Larry really, I mean, I know this, it was mostly all improvised.
Right.
He would give you a skeleton of what the scene was about, what he wanted the scene to be about. And he hired really good stand-up comics who were also very good actors and / improvisers.
Right.
And he would just let it, fly. I think they had a lot of fun in that show.
Yeah.
I know they did,
Oh, yeah.
But there's certain types of literature you just don't, again.
Right. You don't mess with. Yeah.
You don't mess with,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you so much for coming on. I got to ask you one more question before you go, because I've asked every guest we've had. So if you go back in time, if you had one piece of advice that you could give yourself, your younger self, that would help you now, what do you think it would be?
All right, ask the question again. If I could give my
if you could go back in time and talk to your younger self, you have a moment with yourself, and you have one piece of advice that you could give to your younger self that would help you now, what would it be?
Help me now?
Yeah, that you just tell yourself to go through the rest of the life.
You are enough.
Ooh, I like that a lot. Do you feel like a lot of people like this, like, don't need to hear that type of thing? Because it does seem like a common theme almost that, like, especially now with social media and all that other shit, everybody thinks they're doing less than they should be.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a life. Beautiful. That's the life lesson too.
Absolutely. You're enough. I love it. Well, thank you. Seriously, thank you so much for coming on. I love you. I had a blast with you in the class. I learned so much.
Seriously, you're welcome. Seriously.
I was a pain in the ass. Listen, I know I was a pain in the ass. So
a couple of times, but you stayed.
I did. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I knew it. I know what value of it.
I knew you were getting it. You did some good work in my class, John. There's no question.
Thank you.
I mean, if you were terrible, I've had to throw a few people out in my time.
I think. Yeah. Well, I think there was somebody in our class who did not return. And we were all like, so and so's been gone.
Yeah, he's not going to be continuing to work with us. That's how I would handle it.
Right? Yeah, that's how you would handle it, and then we'd move on. You know what I love that you had us do, and this is I'm curious where this originated. We would always get together on our birthdays, or when it was our birthday, you would always.
Oh yeah, wasn't that sweet? I made that up. I don't know.
Oh, you did? You just came out. You would have us all say something.
Yeah, you would be in the center. It was your birthday. We all make a big circle around you and tell you something that we really, really liked about you, loved about you, word or phrase, and people would do it. They loved. That's a better present than I think anything, materialistic.
Absolutely, because
or
to
cake,
this day,
it was sort of like a love bomb,
Yes. And if you were especially like you're having a crappy day, you're getting to the city.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, it was so sweet, and
you had to be in the class on your birthday.
To this day, I remember what you said to me, and we were all out. We actually went out for some reason. We went out around the corner, or whatever, and you made everybody. That we were at the table, or whatever. You're like, it's John's birthday. Let's all say something nice. And you said that I was an acerbic wit. Tempered by great sensitivity. I remember that to this day when I'm
who said that?
You did.
Oh, I'm good.
I know. And I just want I was like, and I remember that to this day. I
think I nailed it.
I thank you. I appreciate that. I think about that whenever I'm feeling like terribly shitty.
Well, nice. I knew at the interview, but I also know, again, you were talking about being a little bit of a pain in the, that you were really smart.
Oh, thank you.
And I can appreciate that from a smart one versus somebody that didn't know, they don't know what the hell they're talking about,
Right.
But that's a good one. I like that. That should be, I should make a T-shirt of that, John.
I'm going to abuse that to know when anybody needs a quote, tossing that out there. Like, hey, listen.
Here's another thing I made up, and I have all my students do it. I taught a workshop at an entertainment center. I'll just put it that way last weekend. But I've told all my private students to do this. I did it myself, and I'm pretty sure I made this up too. And it's for audition purposes, or anytime you even interview for any job. Right before you go into that audition, because you're prepared, or you were getting ready for a job interview. It doesn't matter what it is. And I remember everyone that I said do this, it helped them. And this is again something I want to share with you, because it was something I would also say to my little young woman self, but it has to do with, again, being with people and being in an opportunity for a position. Let's put it that way, a job, or anything. I say to them, I say, what do you really, 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 really like about yourself? And if you let that, sit with you before you go in. I don't care if you like your hair, really like your hair. I said, because when you go in those rooms, they can smell it. They go, oh, I just liked it from the moment he walked in. But it's not cockiness, it's confidence.
Right.
Even if it's only about your hair. But people, again, I say, smell that. And confidence is very attractive. Everybody likes to be around confident people. Something about being around confident people makes you feel safe.
Yes.
Emotionally safe.
Absolutely.
And they also smell fear and desperation when you walk in that room.
Yep.
They go, oh no, he's got a chip on his shoulder. He was so defensive.
Right.
So that's just something that's free. You can just do that as soon as you walk in, right before you walk in the room. And it's a consciousness, a sensitivity, and a sensibility that will be living in you. They will pick right up.
Yeah. That's
and
beautiful.
The camera does it too.
Yep. I was going to say, because a lot of self-taping, stuff like that too.
Oh,
yeah.
God, yes. Absolutely. The camera's so intimate, John, it reads thoughts.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Seriously,
Yeah.
So you're feeling good about yourself.
Work. Oh, yeah. I remember the camera work that we did when we first did it in your class. And I remember something else you used to tell us too, just to also win the room. Somebody had said, but we have people watching, by the way, live. So this is Tom throwing up. Broadway is the pinnacle for stage plays and especially musicals. They try out in Boston, Philly, and Chicago. Do you ever see this changing?
Oh, wow, honey. I right now, because of the state of theater, I can't answer that question. For me, it's still in flux.
Right.
Only for financial reasons they won't go to, but usually it was financial reasons that they went to, regional theaters to see if it works before they spend the big money for Broadway theater. But now everything is so changed. They may not do it because they don't have the money to do, again, a tryout, and then they'll save it for a Broadway run.
Right.
That's a good question.
And
I don't have a definitive answer for it.
It's hard because I don't even know anymore. Like, I feel like this pandemic shook everybody.
Oh God, every aspect, honey.
Yeah.
And even, self-tapes are not going away. They're here to stay.
It's so, me, I feed off of energy. I like,
oh my God,
the crowd.
Absolutely.
And I think self-tapes kind of like after a while, I did so many when we were doing the, at the beginning of this, because of course, then it opened, like we shut down, but to my agents, it just opened everything up.
Absolutely.
So they were like, here's the stuff. But you do so many, like the first few you're doing or whatever, it's fine. Because like, oh yeah, bam, bam, bam. Then after a while, you just see yourself. There's nobody to play off of.
It's self-tapes. You don't have just competition from America. It's international.
Yes,
absolutely. I can send a self-tape from, New Zealand and go, oh, I want that guy.
Yeah.
I want that gal.
They said I had no reason to, you're gonna either kill me for doing this or whatever, but I had no reason at the time. Even I think I was just exhausted by it and just the audacity of me saying no. But like I had one, they had given me they gave me an audition, and it was like midnight, and they needed it at 9 a.m. Right? It was a self tape, yeah. And I was like, okay, that's fine, whatever. But I was like, all right, let me just sit up, and I look at the thing, and it's me, and there's 4 other characters.
Oh.
And I was like, what?
How are you supposed to do that?
What am I supposed to do? And then also it asked me to dress for each of the different scenarios. And I was like,
God.
I'm out. I'm out of the bit. I was like, fuck, there's no way.
I really think that's cruel. And I think it's incredibly unprofessional.
Oh, good. Because I was like,
any production company, theater director, ask you to do that. It's like, oh yeah, you're the talent. You're supposed to just,
yeah,
you're a miracle worker.
Right. That was wild. I was like, green screen, I'm set. I was like, no.
I would think that if I was your agent or manager, I would totally respect that, John.
Yeah, they were cool with it. They were actually nice about it.
But they have to. Hello, it's a craft. It's a profession.
Yeah.
Are you going to do every part of the surgery tomorrow morning? And you just found out it's brain surgery, cancer operation.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm like,
blood poisoning and hip replacement. Oh, come on.
right.
You
I was
couldn't
like,
do
what?
all that.
I think it was like it was a Nathan's commercial or whatever it was. And I
Oh,
was like,
God.
I'm good.
You know what? Sometimes I've had students, clients say to their agents, look, I'd love to do this, but can they extend the time that it could be in to at least get, another day or something?
Right.
Oh, that's just crazy.
Yeah.
And it's very disrespectful and very unprofessional.
Yeah. And between this and the TikTok community too, like I don't even like people are going for people who have millions of followers. Like even like Instagram. So I have a pretty decent following like on Instagram, right? And it keeps changing. But I remember like going for clubs and they'd be like, well, how many followers do you have? And I'm like, well, I guarantee you they're not in Boise. So I don't know what difference that makes.
I had a number of students that when this first started again, they asked me how many followers they had on Instagram and also on tweets. You know what I'm talking about?
Twitter. Yeah, Twitter.
And they didn't get they didn't get a call back.
Infuriating.
But this is for film and television, especially TV, because they wanted to get, almost a guaranteed built-in audience.
Yes.
If they cast this person who had all these followers, I was like, oh.
I know.
It's cool.
A shame. I feel like it's
that's a shame.
Yeah.
That I don't think it's going to change though either.
I don't think so either. I know that's why it's just like you got to do whatever you can. I mean, I watch these documentaries and stuff like that where like they talk about, especially the music industry, by the way, like, like the history of MTV or whatever. But they were talking about the guys chomping cigars, and they would like they were somehow more they were like they were willing to throw shit against the wall more than some 20-something now who's afraid of losing their job for a creative endeavor. They're like, I'm not. It's insane. All right. Well, I don't want to keep you. I do want to keep you. That's a lie, but I won't. I won't do it. I know.
I'm like timing though. I like that.
Thank you. I do it again. Well, again, thank you so much. I'm gonna plug whatever you need me to plug or whatever. This will be out next week. On YouTube and Apple Podcasts. I will send you the links.
Great.
Coming on. If you want to hang backstage while I just wrap this up real quick, that's fine. If you got to go, I understand.
I'll just hang backstage. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Bye, John. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Dystopia Tonight.